The company's called Doppelganger Productions, and we began it about 3 or 4 years ago because new writing theatre is very thin on the ground in this area. There's a lot of kind of traditional theatre output, touring companies, but very little kind of new writing companies. And we formed this company to try and generate more original writing and to encourage local writing and regional writing, and also to put on and to try and develop a fringe identity in Bournemouth, rather than the traditional kind of plays they do at the Pavilion and at the Lighthouse and places like that. And also to create a monthly workshop, which we do, it's called Doppelganger Dialogues, where people can come along to the workshop and read their work and get feedback from us. And sometimes we can get some actors along to read the work for the authors, because it's very useful to hear your work being read. And some work has evolved from the workshops that we've been able to stage. Well, I was on holiday in Annecy in France, southern France, and I came across a story there about young professional people in their 20s, late teens, some of them, who would meet regularly in the bars around Lake Annecy, which is a very beautiful lake. In fact, Annecy is a very beautiful traditional French town at the foot of the French Alps, and these young people would meet to talk about murdering old people in the town. They eventually caught up with this group of murderers, as they murdered about 6 old people. And the French gendarme, one French gendarme said, "Well, they're nice little French kids." I thought that was a terrific story if we did it in Bournemouth, because Bournemouth being traditionally the graveyard of the rich, and of course the new Bournemouth, as it were, is quite a professional enclave with all kinds of companies moving in here. Bournemouth as an idea is quite interesting in that, like a lot of towns along the south coast, they're quite violent places underneath the surface. So it's a kind of idea that there's a kind of sedate, almost complacent feel to places like Paynton, for instance, is quite a violent place underneath the surface, and certain areas are quite violent. So I'm quite interested in that collision between the surface appearance and what really goes on underneath. And I've written several pieces like that, where there's another piece I wrote called Death of a Model Citizen, which takes place in the more in the country, but is about the violence that is lying underneath the surface, which I find an absolutely fascinating theme. And I thought it would be interesting to make the play about a young woman, and so who's actually telling us the story from prison. And so I wrote what was a 75-minute monologue, where she's describing the exploits, and she's obviously quite a disturbed person. And so it's basically a one-woman show. The original show is 75 minutes, which we produced on the stage here in Bournemouth, and it was very successful. And for the live streaming, we've cut it down to 20-25 minutes. So it's a section of the original play, but complete in itself. It's a complete little playlet, but much shorter than the original.